you want?
Yeah. Well, we're going to go live here shortly on, got like 8 minutes. So I'm going to be doing a live radio broadcast through a live stream. At the same point in time, we're going to be doing a live Bigfoot radio show. Get your hats ready for this one on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, did you ever get hold of Mary Catherine about Ashley?
No. Well, yeah, I did. She said she tried to call now and said something about she had bad kidney problems going on. And I don't know, something else to the point about, God, let me get this speaker over here. I can barely hear anything. Something to the point that she had bad kidneys or something like that. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, she's the one who called me about Ashley.
Oh, okay.
And what was funny, I had talked to Ashley just after the show when you were on.
Right.
And I was trying to get on. And she called me after the show, and we talked for a few hours, and then she got off to go to bed, and then I get the call the next morning that she died.
Yeah, see, something's weird about that. Something don't sound right.
Her face in the yard in a fetal position, you know, with her hands over her head.
Right.
That, yeah, something just doesn't.
Something doesn't add up. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Some things like that just don't add up at all.
Yeah, but yeah, I went to the doctor the Tuesday, and he said that I have a heart murmur that he's getting really worried about, and I have high blood pressure. He even put me on blood pressure medicine.
Wow.
That's not good, right?
Yeah, no. I don't know. I've got a heart murmur. I never had it bother me any.
Yeah, but he's just worried about what surgeries and all that junk with me. You know?
I guess I understand I understand your dilemma where you're coming from. I don't let it bother me. You see, the reason I don't let it bother me is because I go by the law of attraction, or what they call the secret law of attraction, whatever. And anything that you think about, you bring about it. And I've actually, I've tried this thing before, and it actually works. I could be sitting at home. Let me show you something here, Snake Man. Hold on. I could be sitting at home with my eyes and imagining a girlfriend I haven't seen in almost 5 or 6 years, and I'll picture her in my mind as she's coming up to the door and knocking at my door. Okay. Now this is just if you want to practice with this. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay.
I've done that.
Okay. And then a few days later, she comes up to your door on the same scenario and starts knocking. It's weird how this stuff happens.
Yeah. Just because she knocks on your door doesn't open it up, though.
Right, but here's the thing. I tried it a second time, and it worked. I tried it a third time, and it worked.
Yeah.
So anything that you picture in your mind has a very bad or good habit of coming true.
Well, I try to believe. I try.
That's like saying, you've been to a certain place. It's like, what is it? Deja vu. It's deja vu because you've been there before, but not physically, only mentally. And then when you're there mentally, a few years later, you go there and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I've been here before. Not physically, but I've been here before.
All right, explain this to me. Dreaming about a certain place and people, and then meeting them later in life and seeing them in person later in life.
In the same scenario, in the same situation?
Yeah.
That's called deja vu.
And dreaming in color and sound?
Yep, that's called deja vu. It's because we've done this before. It's like saying there is a multiverse out in the universe somewhere that each scenario has the same thing going on. That there's what do you call it? All these different planets and different times and different astrological things happening around somewhere else in a different plane of existence. It's not saying they don't exist, because they do. And as we do on this radio show now, in a different existence, it's happening again somewhere in the future or in the past.
Julie said she had a vision a while back, a dream vision, that I actually become a success at the animal thing.
Right.
I mean, do you see that or do you not see that?
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
I mean, once I get over the obstacle of my leg.
Right. But like I said, anything's possible.
Oh, my daughter won her championship belt.
Oh, goody.
On wrestling.
Like I said, oh, goody.
No, that's a good thing, though, man.
I know.
Super proud.
I know.
Like,
I don't know.
I mean, you'd be proud of your kids, right?
For sure I would.
Yeah. My one daughter, I'm proud of her, even though she's a bartender. My other daughter is a wrestler. My son is in the Air Force, so I'm happy. One kid's still trying to decide what she wants to do.
Okay.
You know? So, who else is going to be on tonight, do you know?
Anthony will be on. I called him up earlier.
Chris Allen, by chance. Did you ever get Chris Allen?
No, I wasn't asked to.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you did or not, because he knows Ashley too.
I know.
You know, I mean, he was like the sister to people.
Mary Catherine.
You know, to other people, she was like the sister they never.
Well, yeah, I know that. I mean, like I said, Mary Catherine introduced us together, and we took a liking to each other like brother and sister. And she talked a lot of. I didn't know she liked me like a brother and all this stuff. And like I said, the day after we did the show, she was found in bed at 4:15 p.m. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And you were the last person to speak to her.
I know. And you know what? I was giving her advice about a T-shirt. You know, she was talking about how she felt so bad about these people getting on her. And I said, don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, hello.
Hello.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and start the show up. So go ahead and mute yourselves out, and let me get this thing going. I have to wait for the computer. Okay. And here we go. Okay, here we go.
The recording has started.
They said it was at least 8.5 feet tall.
It wasn't more than 8.5.
We probably locked eyes for maybe 3 seconds, and that was enough for me to just be completely scared out of my mind.
You put bait out too?
We have similar reports in Russia.
I must have watched it for about, a minute and a half.
A large something.
I couldn't explain what it was. And that's when I saw the face peek out from behind the tree at me.
But ancient Native Americans have been recounting sightings for centuries. Sightings of creatures all the creek.
They ran into this people that they call the creek devil.
Since the late 1950s, local and national newspapers have recounted eyewitness reports of 6 to 8 foot tall, hairy, man-like creatures roaming the mountains of Humboldt County in Northern California.
You came down from the mountain where the crystal waters flow. No reason to consider company might show. But destiny would find you where you walked across the sand to leave a world divided. Did Roger film a Bigfoot or man? Where are you now, Patty?
Well, welcome, folks. It's that time once again for the Friday evening Bigfoot Radio. And now for the Bigfoot research team from across the country, welcome everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? Well, before we get to start going tonight, or I meant to say the show started tonight, this show is going to be dedicated to an Ashley Jacobs, a researcher in the field of cryptozoology, also known as Bigfoot. And this song is a dedication to her and her work.
Didn't know today would be our last, or that I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore. I'm praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe. There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Always made my troubles feel so small, and you were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, well, God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight.
That was for you, actually, Jacob. That was for a researcher up in heaven right now with all the other researchers who passed on from generation to generation. She's doing the Bigfoot research now from heaven and looking down on all of us down here. I hope everybody liked the intro I picked for her.
It was beautiful, Giant. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that was a great song.
I had a chance to either pick that song or the other one from what's her name, McLean, about In the Arms of an Angel, but I think this one here depicted her a lot more better than the other one.
But, well, she was a beautiful person inside and out. That's definitely sure. And I do believe she's up in heaven with the good Lord.
Your phone's dying out on you. You should have charged it up.
You had 3 months to charge it up.
Yeah, there you go. You had 3 months to charge it up there, Snake, and you let it go dead.
Well, I'm sure Ashley's just rolling her eyes and laughing right now. You guys fucking... But you know, I think that she's smiling at that little song you played for her, John.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I'm hoping everybody out there on YouTube can hear our show, because I want everybody out there to know that right now, as of tonight, we are doing a live YouTube video, or a Bigfoot video live show. So I'm hoping that everybody can hear us. If not, it'll be sometime in the future when I can get better speakers or something like that, do the show. But anyhow, let's talk about Ashley and all the stuff that her and Mary Catherine, kind of did, because Mary Catherine knew her better than all of us.
Well, it's kind of hard for me to talk right now.
Don't feel bad.
Ashley came into my life several years back, and ever since then we've been great friends. I mean, it was just like our soul connected. And she's about a year older than my oldest son. And I called her my daughter, my sassy little girl. She used to call me Mama. We had a very close relationship as far as that goes. And if something was wrong, she always called me, and I'd call her if I hadn't heard from her in a while. She loved to come down here. She wanted to bring some people down here and to do investigations. And there was some funny times, and there was some just hilarious times. It was always fun being with Ashley. It was always fun. And the past year, I know that she wanted to get out. She wanted to do more. She wanted to do more in the Bigfoot field. And we started a podcast, and, I started up one Jim Smith passed away, and for 2 years they wanted me to take up his place, to step into his boots, but I didn't feel very qualified to do. But Ashley and I, we did a lot of talking and investigations, and it was just awesome. I mean, I'm gonna miss that child. She's not a child, but she was my child.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going places. And I knew she had health problems, but I didn't realize it was this bad. And that's what tears me up the most. Did you want to ask something, Steve?
Yeah. Well, Steve and Giant, I guess I could be two people at once. I'm not sure how. But I remember, when me and Ashley did a YouTube video or a live stream on her, I can't remember what that live stream was called now. That even if I could think about it, she did a Wednesday evening paranormal Bigfoot research YouTube show, as we are now doing tonight, and in her honor. And it's like every Bigfoot research out there, they go through the same thing. They get old or something happens, they die. And I just want every person out there, we never forget those that died. They'll always be remembered by us, whether it's in a book or whether it's in memory or whether it's in film or whatever. She will always be known as one of those who believe that this creature out there actually does exist.
Jack, the show you're thinking of was Expeditions for Answers.
Oh, you started it. Now you talk.
No, I said you didn't remember the name of the show. It was Expeditions for Answers.
Yeah. So you tell me, Snake Man, how you and her met, and how you guys reacted to each other doing, talking about Bigfoot and all the other stuff.
Well, she and I met on actually this show right here, on your show. And me being a paranormal investigator, she kind of was fascinated by that, and I dabbled into the show, and I would give her some of my suggestions on how to do things and talk to her about stuff that I've encountered. She talked about stuff she encountered. So she had to come on her show about my Bigfoot encounters, and kind of took her under my wing as far as, when people would, hound her about things. How she is about people always hounding on her and all that, about certain things.
Right.
She would talk to me about it. And I just tell her like a big brother, don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, you're a big brother already to some of us.
And, she loved Mary Catherine. She really did. She loved her like a mama. As a matter of fact, that's what she referred to her as mama.
Right.
And,
Chris was supposed to come on tonight, but I guess Chris has got a toothache. I guess he had his tooth or something like that pulled out yesterday or today or something like that. He said that he had a tooth pulled, so I guess he's a little bit in, what do you call it, discomfort. Well, getting teeth pulled, I know how that feels. And I was in the park the other day. This isn't no Bigfoot stuff, but I got sucker punched for saying to my friend next to me in my seat that we're going to go up in the hills and do some hunting for cougar or whatever. Well, it wasn't really hunting for cougar. What it was is, how do I protect myself up in the hills if there is a predator or a cougar or something like that? And I said, well, if there's a cougar up in the hills, I got a 45 that'll take care of that. And my window was down at the same time I was, doing this. And the guy that was working out here doing something, I passed him up because I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to somebody else next to me in my seat because we come back from the post office. And strange thing about it was, he goes, "Are you threatening me to shoot me with your 45? And I'm like, and then he goes, "I'll kick your ass." I'm like, what? Excuse me? This conversation has nothing to do with you, dude. Your name was never mentioned. Where do you get the idea that, all the bullshit? So we went around the corner to drop her off at her trailer, and I stuck my face out the window, and I said, you ain't got the balls to kick my ass anyhow. So on that point in time, him and the landlord both come up to my car, and the landlord asked me, I'm not going to mention his name on here because, I'm not that way. My landlord asked me, did you really threaten to shoot him with a 45? I said, no. I said I would like to be in the mountains hunting cougar with a 45. Where does he get a cougar from him? His name was never mentioned. And as soon as I said that, I got sucker punched right in the mouth. And I don't know what he had in his hand, but it stuck a hole from my outside lip all the way inside my, my inner mouth at the top. And I bled for like maybe 4 hours last night until I had to figure a way to bandage my lip up. And then, anyhow, long story short, I got to make a trip to El Centro Thursday because I have paperwork to sign with a U.S. Judge about the incident. So on live radio, all I can say is, dude, you're screwed. And don't get me wrong, but if I was running this park and a guy did that in front of me, I don't care what the problem is. I'd fire the guy. That's making me as a landlord look bad. If I'm going to let one of my employees or whatever punch a guy out right in front of me and this guy's bleeding, no, that doesn't get it.
I sure do hate that.
Yeah, so I got to go in. I'm talking to a judge Thursday next month, and I have to give a written report and everything else. Like I said, I'm not giving no more than the wrapper off the lollipop that needs to be given because this is a live show.
It's funny though, guy, that he probably figured you were an average sized person. If you would have stood up and got out of the car, stood up, he probably would have changed his mind.
Actually, I wouldn't have no problem taking him down. I didn't faint in the car. He punched me. I still turned around and I looked at him. I wasn't crying and all this stuff, but I guarantee you if I was a fighting person, which I'm not, but I'm just saying if I was, he'd be flat on his ass on the ground crying for his mommy. And that ain't no joke. 7'4", and this guy is a little whatever it is. I don't give a hoot. They say the taller you are, the harder they fall. That's not always true.
Yeah. No. He'd been hitting you in the knees if you stood up. If
I stood up, I'd be kicking him in his nutsack like the little midgets are that we talk about on the show.
If he would have stood up, I bet you 10 to 1 the fight would have been took right out of him when you saw how tall you were.
Yeah, well, I know his full name. I'm not going to mention it on the show because I'm not that type of person. But I'm going to take legal action myself.
Is he illegal?
Well, let's put it this way. I talked to an attorney today on the phone. I'm almost 62 years old. He's in his 40s. Does that tell you guys anything?
Yeah, that's battery on an elderly person.
That's
actually a senior citizen.
That's right. I'm an elderly man, and it's called elder abuse. People need to check their law before they double up their fist and hit.
You old fart.
You know what? I think TV sent them.
TV. I wouldn't doubt that a bit.
Hey, you can't help it. You're an old fart.
I may be an old fart, but I can still climb. So, tell me something there, Stink Man. Tell us all how you got started in the Bigfoot field and paranormal investigation, all that stuff. Because as I said before, we're doing a live new show on YouTube Live, so I think everybody out there might want to know.
Well, as you know, I started out first doing paranormal investigating, the ghosts and the unexplained stuff. And I got requested to do a few places in Florida. I got requested to go and do some places over in Tennessee and Virginia, which was fun. They were old Civil War areas. And one thing we caught on film was an actual orb moving, changing color and shape, and you can actually see its face inside the orb.
Right.
And we caught an EVP on the stairwell going down into the basement where we caught that orb.
Right.
And it was interesting. Plus, I had also investigated over in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Right.
It was an old fort that was burnt down and destroyed during the search for Chuga, which was an Indian outlaw. And we actually got an EVP there that told me to go home.
Right.
But as far as that, when I got into the Bigfoot stuff, I was like 14. And we were on our land in St. Augustine, which was cleared and everything, 150 acres. And I was out hunting squirrels. My dad was already done for the day, and we were sitting by the bonfire with my uncle and my cousins and all that, just enjoying themselves. I'm out there with a single shot 20 gauge, shooting squirrels. And I loaded up my bag and I stopped by a stump to rest and get my bearings again. And you know how that feeling when you know you're being watched, something's really close to you and something's right close to you and you can feel you're being watched.
Keep going, we're listening.
That's how I felt when I was sitting down in the swamp. And it was like a weird silence. It was a weird sound. And what was funny with it was that when I got back up and I started moving, it still stayed quiet until I got going, and then it started picking up again after I would shoot squirrels. I'd put them in my bag, keep walking. It was just an odd silence that happened, and I remember making it to the top of the land because it was starting to get darker, and I was still popping squirrels. I got all my squirrels, loaded up in my bag, started back up, got to the top of the land where I could see my dad, and I kept stopping every now and again because that feeling stayed with me that I was being followed. You know, the feeling you get when you're in the woods that something's following you.
Right, right.
And I remember that I had stopped and I looked around and nothing was there, and I kept going. I got up to the land where my dad was at, and I remember holding the bag up going, "Dad, I beat you," because we had a contest to see who shot the most squirrels.
Okay.
And what was funny is I got almost up to where my dad was at, maybe 50 feet away from him. And what was funny is that their faces were pale white. My dad put down his drink, picked up his Q-beam and his 44 Red Hawk,
okay,
and held it in his lap, turned the Q-beam on, and said, "Turn around slowly and do not freak out." So I turned around and I looked, and I see this form standing an arm's length behind me. It followed me from out of the woods. I mean, it towered over me just a little bit, not that much. And it was weird is that it stayed right there, and we looked at each other. I thought maybe it was one of my dad's friends that was, trying to pull a prank on me. So I brushed my hand across the chest. It did a grunt and then backed up a couple of steps, and then we sat there and stared at each other and kind of did the same, like when a dog hits us on it, crossed its head.
Right.
And we were looking at each other like, what the hell are you? And we sat there and we stared at each other for a good while. And by that time, everybody else was still staring at it with open mouth. And now, at that time, they were all standing up. And they seen it, and they all had the guns with them. Because they all had the guns because we were hunting all together. But they were done. This thing here had come up, and we were staring at each other. And it just continued. And I remember the feeling of the hair on the chest was like a coarse hair, I just sort of like an elephant thickness, that kind of a, not soft, but, like a bristle.
Right, right.
Is that rough? And I remember that we sat there and we stared at each other for a good while. And by the time it was over, it backed up, looked at me, did a little growl, then ran off into the woods. And as it was running, we saw it run and then drop the 4 legs and disappear into the woods. And shortly after that, we saw plenty of them. But when I got older than that, I had moved to Paris, Texas, and I started my business there, the reptile and nuisance animal business. And that's when I met with TB and was requested by a judge to go out and kind of make sure everything stays safe, everybody stays safe, especially in his county. I met TB out there, and I had several face-to-face encounters through them, which was very interesting as well.
You want to explain to our audience who TB is?
Tom Biscardi,
okay.
Senior.
Okay, because a lot of people out there don't know who TB is. TB could be anybody, but okay. Anyhow, keep going.
Yeah. And, well, we had also did an investigation over in, what was the name of that one town that we went to? Anyways, we were out over by Rockwall. There's a spot that's over past Rockwall, Texas. And we were investigating out there, and I had basically an encounter where I had to save my team because I was given a team to take charge of, with nothing but a flashlight and a Bowie knife on my hip and my snake stick. As you know, that's my favorite equipment, right?
Yeah, we know that. We know that's your favorite little affliction toy.
And we had an encounter because we had recently found a tree structure that was out there. We also had found juvenile footprints by a water source out there, and it all connected to the reserve,
right?
The animal reserve,
right?
So we were staked out there while they were in a different area. Their whole plan at the time was to do a live capture, which, me, that's what I'm all about, is live capture. No hurt,
Right.
And we had it, basically had it cornered. I had my team, and one of the girls was with us. This is kind of funny. She she had a nature call, so we all turned our backs, and I stayed close to her, but had my back to her and had her hold on to my belt loop, so she wouldn't get taken or hurt or anything of that nature, but she still had her privacy. And she said something, growled at me, and I said, "Okay, are you done?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm done." She got done, got everything on, got back into the circle, back to back. We had heat seekers and flashlights. And what was funny about that was that we were doing that, and we saw the form all together stand up from right where she was at, where she had just done her nature call. Apparently, she peed on his foot. Okay, and he came out of the brush right where she was at, and what was funny is that she got into the circle with him. We all saw this form stand up, and everybody else, I told them, "Okay, just stand your ground, don't freak out, stay in the circle." And I had already unclipped my buoy, so it would be in the sheath, but it wouldn't be locked down. And we were standing there, and this thing was starting to advance just a little bit. And you know how they do the rocking.
Oh,
when
yeah.
They get agitated.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was starting to do the rocking, and I told everybody to slowly and casually back out. Do not walk out with your back to it. Just casually back out. Go get help.
Right.
And everybody left. And I was standing there by myself facing the thing off. And I'm in a dark area. Like, all of a sudden, I had the old military flashlight that you clip onto your belt or under your vest or whatever. And it aims forward. It looks like an L shape.
Right.
And I'm sitting there facing this thing off, and we're doing, it takes a step to the right, I take a step to the right. It takes a step to the left, I take a step to the left. It goes forward, I come forward. You know, I was matching it step for step. You could say we were doing the two-step. You know?
Yep.
And what was funny was my flashlight started slowly dying out. I believe that these creatures have the ability to absorb your electricity from your flashlight. Just like in a regular paranormal situation, you know? And what was funny was it drained my battery completely down, and I was left in the dark, and I had to adjust my eyes and pray it wasn't standing 2 feet in front of me when I opened my eyes to adjust it. And it was still up a little bit, but it was staying back. But I stayed right there with it and kept matching it toe to toe. And luckily, one of the crew came back in the truck and pulled in and shined the light up. So I did a slow retreat to where I could, you know, keep it at bay, but still keep an eye on it, thinking that a capture team was coming.
Right.
And it was actually a perfect opportunity, you know. And what was funny was that I did the retreat, got to the truck, got into the truck. No sooner we had backed up and got onto the gravel road, you know, the old dirt gravel road and everything. I remember the window was up, and I had the door. I guess they automatically locked in the truck. But as soon as we backed up and we were getting ready to take off, I looked over and I had a big hairy face smashed against the window, staring at me. And what it did, it had charged. It did a complete charge at the truck, right to my face, and it was like, wow,
scary.
You know? Yeah, it was one of those shorts changing stories. You know?
Are you sure it wasn't one of those show and tell stories with a critter?
Yeah, I'm sure. But you know, when I made it back to the base camp, I went to go talk to TV and tell him my report. And I said, where was the capture crew? And they were sitting there eating hamburgers.
That figures.
I put my life on the line to do the capture, and we had a perfect opportunity. All they had was peanut butter that had a handprint. I said, well, I had you an opportunity for a live specimen.
So you basically, what you're saying is you had you went in there with everything except for a gun, Bowie knife, and everything else, and they're outside eating what? Hamburgers and hot dogs?
Yeah, just having a big old party, basically.
Huh.
Hey, Giant.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I saw something.
Snake Man, I told you to pull your drawers up.
No. I can't see through walls. No, I really saw something the other night. I don't know what it was, but it was unidentifiable.
Hey, that's not nice.
Huh?
That wasn't nice.
What wasn't nice?
He's trying to imitate the streak.
Surprise.
Anyhow, yeah. What did you see the other night here, Mary? Tell us.
Well, it was about a week ago. My sister's been in and out of the hospital. She's got congestive heart failure, and I was taking my mother a bowl of. I guess it was Saturday, I made a big bowl of potato salad, and I made some chicken salad, and I was going to take it over to my mother's. And I pull out my driveway, and I go down the road a little while, and then all of a sudden, right where you turn on the road to go to my mother's, there was this huge thing in the middle of in the sky, right above the tree line. It looked like a triangle, and the star, though it was real bright, facing the west, and it triangled out, and it looked like rows of lights in a triangle. It was just sitting still, and then all of a sudden, it moved. It didn't speed up to move or slow down to stop. It went from point A to point B.
Wow.
And I said, oh, all this time I thought it was a satellite, but no satellite's going to be in our atmosphere that low. It was bigger than a house. Like if you're looking at a house about a quarter of a mile away.
Right.
And it was over the lake. And it's not the first time I saw it do that, but I don't know what it was.
You know, is that the picture you sent me, Mary Catherine?
Well, yeah, similar, yeah. I tried to draw it, and I couldn't draw it that well, and I got online to look at it and what I saw close to it. But it was real low, in you know, it looked like it was just on top of the tree.
Was it kind of rectangular looking?
It was triangle.
Yeah, I know what that is.
What is it?
They've seen a lot of those.
Actually, it's a triangular object. I want to say our government, our black ops use them, and oh hell, what is it?
It was sitting still.
Yeah.
MIB.
And I can never remember the name of those things. And E something.
Well, like I said, it was unidentifiable to me, and I was, like I said, now when it moved, it didn't slowly, gradually take up speed. It just moved from A to B, and it didn't slow down to stop. And it only moved like if I was up in the air, I'd say it moved about a half a mile. No further than that, but and then stopped, and I was in total shock. But I see these, what I thought was satellites over me, and it looks like Christmas tree lights dangling down. And several times I got a good view of it, but this is the furthest closest I ever been to it, and it be that big.
Right.
It was weird. So it's government.
That's cool, though. That is cool.
Now, if you see UFOs, they're like way up in the heavens, and they make the really sharp turns. It's not us, because we don't have, I don't care what nobody says, we do not have a flying spacecraft that can make a sharp turn like that. If anything, that sharp turn is actually built by extraterrestrials, not from this Earth. Or on the other thing, I should say, they are from this Earth. That we are the intruders, not them.
Well, all I don't want to happen to me is I don't want no little green man putting me out of bed.
Huh. Well, I think they'll be a little far from a green man.
Or a little blue man, or whatever you call them.
Mary Catherine, just send them a giant.
E.T. go home.
E.T. go home. Yeah, all right. Be a little finger up in the sky. In my case, it'd be a little jar of peanut butter and spoon. E.T. go home. Yeah, okay.
But, you know, I don't believe in flying. Well, I know there's flying saucers because of them.
You're a Bible believer now, aren't you, Mary Catherine?
Oh, yeah, I've been a Bible believer for a long time.
You know, UFOs have actually been read about in our Bible.
Oh, yeah. The wheel in the wheel.
Yep.
Lives taken up and chariot of fire.
You
Yep.
know, when I first read that as a kid growing up, and I'm in my, in my family church, everything else, I'm sorry to say, but anybody out there that's a preacher, I always had to argue the point with the preacher. And the preacher always came back to me and said, oh, that was the only thing they could describe. What they were describing was something they saw. They had no clue what it meant. I said, if they had no clue what it meant, why'd they put it in the book for?
Well, there's a lot of things in the Bible that a lot of people don't understand. But, one day we'll understand it all.
But when they said that when it took off from the ground, all 4 feet took off from the ground. And when it flew sideways, the wheels would fly sideways. And when I heard that, the first thing that went through my mind was, that's either a UFO or a funny-looking airplane.
Well, it's definitely something.
So I've got...
Well,
I got a funny feeling they were talking about UFOs back in their days, but they didn't know any way of how to say UFO, so they described the vehicle in only a way they could understand it.
That's true. I mean, I don't, I'm sure God is a big God.
Oh, yeah.
He created the heavens and the earth. And, if he can create life on earth, what's to say he didn't create a different world?
Well, something else on top of that, God created us. And God took parts of himself and gave it upon himself to give parts of him to us. So who's not to say that where it says, let man be in my own image, it should have read, let man be in my own essence, because the essence that we're made out of is the essence that he took part of himself and gave us.
He blew his breath in us to cause us to be a living soul. Man was created from the dust of the earth, and then that's when he blew his breath, which is the Holy Spirit, into us to give us life.
Right.
Yeah. And
so does it say that man was strictly here on Earth, or does it also state that man could be in other parts of the galaxy too?
That's true.
Well,
that's true.
That's true. And, in the Bible, over in Revelation, he said, I see a new heaven and a new earth coming down. And a new Jerusalem. And
that New Jerusalem could be a giant city inside of a bubble like Atlantis.
I'm not, a lot of people are still looking for Atlantis. What's your take on that? You think they'll ever find it? I think it was destroyed myself.
Actually, Atlantis is here on this planet, but they're looking in the wrong place.
I think it's in a subterranean crevice somewhere.
Well, they said the sea swallowed it up, didn't they?
Now, let's put it this way. The city of Atlantis is in the deepest part of the ocean. Snake Man, what's the deepest part of the ocean that man has not explored?
Wouldn't that be, what's that gap called? The one, it's a natural occurrence. It's a big old gap out in the middle of the...
It's out by the coast of California somewhere.
Yeah. I forget the name of it.
It's the deepest part of the ocean that nobody has been able to go down to the depths because their ears will explode or some dumb thing.
Exactly.
But I will bet you any amount of money in the world that Atlantis is in the bottom of that crevice.
Well, now
think about this.
Let me tell you this. I've got a friend named, and he showed me a picture that they found what appeared to be structures up under the out from California. It looked like a town out there built. I mean, it was dwellings up under the ocean.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever seen it or not.
I would tell you a story about that, and people think I'd be nuts. So I'd just tell you what, I'll keep it to myself, and I won't say anything.
Well, think about this, okay? If they don't believe that that's possible, then think about this. And in that big crevice that you're talking about out in the middle of the ocean over off of California, you're talking about China, there's also cooled animals that they thought were long since extinct. They were pulling out fish and different things like that were thought to have been extinct back when the dinosaur was around.
Yep, pretty much.
It's still a cat. Is that what you call it? Still a cat over in Africa?
Yeah, and they were actually eating those things. Anyhow, let's welcome Philippe Mendoza to the phone or to the show. Hello, big dog.
What's happening, y'all? How's everybody doing?
Hey, we're doing. Let's get some intake on how you and Ashley met.
Well, I met her through Gary Spikes. He asked me if I wanted to come on a show, kind of like to hang out or whatever. And, you know, I do anything for my boys. So I clicked on and we immediately had some chemistry. We became good friends. And then after that, you know, she asked me to co-host some shows with her. And actually, you were the last guy that we had on the show before she went to the other side.
Yeah, you know, Dog turned around and he wrote me an email on Facebook. And he goes, "Did you hear Ashley died?" And I'm sitting there like, is this guy crazy or is he joking or what? Where do you get the idea Ashley died? Who told you this? Somebody trying to play a prank or something? And he says, no, he heard that somebody died. He said the same thing to somebody else. They thought that they were messing with his head or something like that. And I guess he did the same thing to them as I did to him. And Mary Allen told me that they found Ashley in her bedroom at 4:15 in the morning. Oh, I'm like, oh my God. We did a show Wednesday evening. After he did the show, she got on the phone and started talking to Snake Man. And Snake Man, what did she say to you about being late for her own funeral?
Yeah, she was joking with me, and I think you remember her teasing about that on the show too, about being late for her own funeral.
She said that a couple times, you know, while I was on there with her.
Apparently, she knew something we didn't know.
Well, I want to ask y'all something. I know that she was live and that you could view her during that show. What was your take on her? How do you think she was feeling that night?
She was feeling pretty good. I mean,
she didn't act strange.
She didn't act strange to me. She was laughing. She was joking. She was giggling.
Everything seemed to be normal. You know, to me, she was herself.
She was talking to me. She seemed like she was a little bit out of it towards the end of our conversation on the phone. So she figured she was tired.
Yeah. What was it? Snake Man said when he was speaking to her, she was slurring her words a little bit.
What time did y'all get off the phone, Snake Man?
Probably about 2 or 3.
Well, they found her outside with her legs up under her body. I guess like she was squatting down and fell over, and her hands on both sides of her head. She was face down in the grass.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
She told me, and she said that she tried to move her, and then she called an ambulance, and then they came in there and told her that after they got there, she had went inside for something. They told her that she was gone. But no, Ashley, she wasn't but 44 years old, and young, and it's, you know, so many people today is dying from this COVID and everything, and that's. She's always safe. She always did everything she possibly could to stay safe. And then, lo and behold, this happens, and it's like the big shock of the year. You know, I just can't get over it. And I won't let myself cry. She wouldn't want me to cry. But Ashley was a very fun person. She cracked a joke. She'd twist something. She'd hit you with something to get you rolling. And I just loved her so much. I did. And I wish I could have seen her before, because it's been about a year or so since we've been together because of this COVID-19.
You know something, Mary Ellen, and I'm going to be a blunt out there along with our listeners and everything else. Don't let it bother you to cry, because I cry all the time. I mean, if you can't cry, you're not human.
Yeah, I don't cry. Wait a minute. What's that?
When I cry, it gives me a migraine, and I've had migraines here lately. I fought it.
When I cry, I get tired and I go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, we used to always message each other on Facebook, and now, it's just like I send her I forget, and I send her a message, and then I'm like, why is she replying? And then, I remember, because I just couldn't believe it, when they told me, somebody saw that they posted that she had passed away, and they called me, and I was busy at work, and I was like, man, quit messing around. I thought it was a sick joke. I go, man, don't play like that. That's not a good, that's not funny, man. Don't play like that.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a sick joke, because I'm like, why would somebody have a show and the next day they're dead? Come on, man. Get real.
Yeah.
It's like losing a sister.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it felt.
And see, what it was with me is when I did the show with her and Dog, I felt a real connection between me and Dog. I mean, I felt a good connection with him. And then I felt when she said she came out, she loved me like a brother, even though she never met me before. And something about how we saw things on the same level as each other. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, this person knows me better than I know myself.
Yeah, that's how she was.
She was giving me a hard time.
She was very perceptive. She even said she loved what was it? She loved Jan Allen. She called Jan Allen the old one of the Bigfoot investigation. He is so old. He's old with the cavemen.
Oh, Yoda of the Bigfoot community.
Yeah, he was called Yoda of the Bigfoot community.
One time we were out doing some investigation, and we were just walking back to the house, and she always had some kind of thing in her pockets or something like that. We found this Geo game that they were playing, and I saw the bricks. I said, that don't look right. And it was blocks with one on top of it. So we walked in there, and everybody had found it, had signed their name and everything. And I said, what are we going to do? We don't have a pen. She said, wait, I got some mascara. She pulled out a mascara, and she put she smeared it on her thumb, then put it on that piece of paper, put her thumbprint there. And then there was another time that when Adam Davis and Ed Brown was here. She came. She stayed about 4 nights with us, and we went. That's when we went over the field, and when Bluff rushed us. But we was over there. We was listening to Native American flute playing and everything, and Denise started coming up that hill. She wouldn't ever say nothing. Nash was just about to pull her pistol out. She's supposed to shoot Denise. She thought she was a booger.
And something else, I want to say that she actually gave Jan that night when she did the video online, video call and stuff we were doing. She even gave Jan a hell of a compliment that she liked Jan a lot, that she knew exactly where Jan was coming from. And Jan, if you're listening to the show tonight, to me, that was a big blessing for her to just give you that big old love and support. I've never seen by you. I actually do that before. We all give each other a hard time. Don't get it wrong. I mean, we give Snake more of a hard time. Jan, every once in a while. Who else? Chris, yeah. But we mostly pick on Snake Man. What can we say? Snake Man's our little buddy.
Well, you know what? He actually tried to defend me against Jan that one time, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that was
Even though I didn't need it.
well, Joyce talked to her, and we was on a podcast one night, and Joyce was sitting there, and Joyce was telling us about that she was shooting at the coyotes, and they had started coming at her. She got in the truck, and her rifle went off. So Ashley nicknamed Joyce Trigger.
Yeah.
And that's my man.
You know,
And then
I remember hearing about that.
And she sits there, she says, well, I'm not about to go Bigfooting or investigating with Joyce. She might shoot me. She was correct. I mean, and Joyce was totally upset about it too. And, but no, Ashley, how long ago? It was for Thanksgiving or something like that I introduced her to this program here. And she was, like I said, she's the most down-to-earth person you could think of. And I tell you what, I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss her a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. She and I would sit and have discussions on the phone for hours. One night we were discussing Giant, of all people. Okay. And I know this is a shock to you, Giant, but she said that you were really funny, really down-to-earth. You have a good sense of humor and a good way about you. And she respected that.
Yeah, you can come off the wall. You can let everybody know I'm such of a nut job. It ain't funny.
Well, that's the truth, but
Yeah, when she messaged me and told me that you were going to be on, I mean, she talked about you very highly. She was really excited about having you on. She's like, you guys got to meet. I know you guys are going to get along. He's a real cool, down-to-earth guy. And I was like,
yeah, and then the weird part is they're on the show. I don't call in until what is it, like 45, 50 minutes later. She's probably thinking to herself, oh man, he's not even going to come on the show. He just ditched us all together. And all of a sudden I come on and she's like, there he is.
Yeah.
She said, I almost had her fooled.
I didn't get to hear the whole show, but after the show ended and I was trying to come on and it kept dying out on me because of a storm we had coming in the area, she called me and she was making fun of me and picking on me, something fierce, but it's more of a ribbing like a sister would give a brother,
She's
right. You need to leave that button alone. It hangs you up.
Yeah.
And I'm just scared of what I'm worried about what she probably said or thought of me when I came on her show.
So, Big Dog, let me ask Big Dog something. How long have you been into the field of research? Or is this your first time?
Well, I guess since 2012 is when I had my first sighting.
Wow. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, I had seen... Well, I got on Facebook and I started meeting a whole bunch of people. And there's a cousin of mine. He went up to Mount Rainier and he took a picture with him posing right next to a Bigfoot track.
Wow.
And immediately I was contacting him. I was like, is that a Bigfoot? And we kind of hit it off. And he's like, yeah, what do you know about Bigfoot? I guess he wanted to check because I do the same thing. When somebody starts questioning you about Bigfoot, you're trying to figure out if they're making fun of you or if they're actually interested,
or whether they think you're a nut job.
Yeah, so he figured out that I was interested, and then he invited me to go with him and a couple other people to go change out batteries and SD cards on some trail cams that they had out in the Sam Houston National. Well, no, actually it was in Fostoria. That's not too far from the Sam Houston area,
right.
And so yeah, I went and we kind of cruised around for about 6 miles. I found a track out there, and then we started walking around some more. And of course, I am not in physical shape to be doing that type of stuff. And he was kind of leading us in, and then he saw a Bigfoot behind a bush, and it ducked down, like straight down. And he goes, there's one right there. And I looked. Of course, I didn't see it. And he was trying to take a picture. He was trying to get his camera to work. But he got frustrated and started running towards that bush. And as he was running towards it, I thought these guys were pulling my leg. I was like, oh God, they're gonna try to spook me or scare me or something. You know, I don't appreciate this at all. And then as he was running towards it, I seen this giant hand coming out from behind that bush, and it like grabbed hold of a tree. And it was like all slow motion, you know. I saw the fat fingers look like a baseball glove. The hair was probably about 3 to 4 inches long, but it was real shiny and clean looking.
Almost like an albino.
It was like black hair,
right?
But really clean. And then I started seeing the shoulder, and then it sort of stood up, and then spun around and went down on all fours, and then it ran through the bush. And as it went through, it didn't make one sound. I mean, it was so quiet. And I couldn't believe what I saw. And I was like, no, there's no way that I just saw that, because, you know, he put it in my head that there's one there. And, you know, I said, well, let me ask him, you know, what color it was, ask him some details. And if he answers if the answer's right, then I saw it. Right. So I started asking him, you know, what color was it? He said black. And where was it? And he pointed at it. And I was like, damn it. I saw Bigfoot. And he's like, they were all happy, man. They were like a little brother that just scored for the first time. They were all high-fiving each other. And I was like, no, man, this ain't good, man. I want to get out of here. I want to go home. These things are real. Let's get out of here. And it kind of felt like I was in the ocean with sharks and no cage that was keeping. Oh man, these things could rip me apart. You know, these things are real. I didn't feel safe anymore, even though I had 2 big ass guns on me. That was the last thing on my mind. I forgot all about them.
Right.
So they finally talked me into going to check one more camera, and we went down this pipeline where there's like cleared on both sides. Well, cleared in the middle, and there's woods on both sides. So as we were walking back, they left me behind, you know, waiting for me. So they were leaving me behind. And as I was walking, I could hear something on my left side starting to parallel me. And I thought I was losing my mind. I was like, what in the heck is that? I would take like a couple steps, and then it would take maybe, if I, you know what I mean? I would stop, and then it would probably take like 2 more. And then I would start walking again, and it would. And it wasn't trying to be quiet this time. This time it was like dragging its feet and snapping like branches.
Let me know it's there.
Yeah. So I had a shirt over my head, and it was covering my peripheral vision because it was about, you know how Texas is. It was about 150 degrees. And so I had my shirt over my head, and I would try to peek off to the side, off to my left side, and I wouldn't see anything. That's what was freaking me out. I was like, man, is this thing invisible, or what is going on? I'm getting this bad vibe from. So I start walking a little faster, got a little more pep to my step, and they see me with this whole different expression on my face this time, and I got a little urgent walking, and so they stop, and they're like, hey, what's going on? I said, man, there's something paralleling me, you know, I hear something walking. And they're like, one of the guys goes, oh. I was like, all right, dude, I need to know everything you know about Bigfoot, because I'm learning as we go, and I don't like this at all. They're like, oh, don't worry, man, we'll be all right. So they're like, look, we're going to walk and get the cars, and, you know, you just keep walking down this pipeline, and, you know, we'll meet you at the road. And I was like, man, y'all are not leaving me here. They said, no, we'll leave you here with one of the guys. I was like, oh, okay. So me and this guy are sitting there just kind of talking, and I had these brand new boots. You know, I haven't been in the woods in forever, so I didn't know what to wear. I went and bought like all this tactical gear, like I was part of the SWAT team or something. It was a horrible choice. You know, I went and bought brand new combat boots, you know, brand new pants, brand new. So nothing was broke in. So my feet were killing me. And we had been walking, you know, about 6-7 miles. And, you know, I was ready to give up. So I sat down on the ground and I unzipped my boots, and we're kind of just talking, and he's telling me how he got into Bigfoot and all this stuff. And as we were talking, we got like this weird whistle from the right side. And the guy that I was talking to jumped up and said, "Let's go." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Because he was talking and he made this face like he knew exactly what it was. I didn't know they whistled. You know, I'm learning. Like I said, I'm learning as we go. So he's like, let's go. So I started zipping up my, I guess we're moving. And so now as we're walking out, we're getting those leaves and branches breaking on both sides of us.
Yeah, they're
they're
footballing you is what it's called, or sidetracking you.
Yeah, it was like they were escorting us out, because the closer we got to the road, they seemed to back off. And man, when I saw that black, I ran over there and I gave that street a big old kiss, man. Because I felt, I didn't feel their presence anymore. I felt like they were gone. And they finally pulled up, and they picked us up. That was May 19th, 2012 when that happened.
You see, I wish I was there, because I would have never walked out. If I knew there was something out right next to me walking towards me, I would have turned my head and I would have walked towards it. And me being 7'4", they'd probably be, "Oh my God, he knows where we're at. Let's get out of here."
Yeah, see, you're a seasoned Bigfooter. That was my first time. I didn't know anything about that stuff.
Actually,
now I probably would have ran straight into the woods.
Yeah, actually,
looking,
my Bigfoot's experiences were kind of like on and off through my ages growing up. For like I was 6 years old, 7 years old, somewhere around there, I saw my first Bigfoot outside my bedroom window. That was back in 66. And then 67, I heard something about Roger Patterson and the Patty movie. And when I saw that on TV, I thought, no way, it can't be possible. Because that one was up in Willow Creek, California. And I'm down here sitting outside of Anderson, California. I'm like, no way. And then I think it was back in 1978. I was up at Whiskey Town Lake camping in the back of my car shaking back and forth. And, I thought it was a wind because, the wind blows, it shakes stuff back and forth, but it wasn't blowing that hard to shake, a station wagon. And I didn't think anything of it. Second time it started doing it, hell with it, because I thought there was somebody outside, put the key in, turn the key on, step on the brake. And when the brake lights in the back of the station wagon lit up, all you saw was a big old giant, hairy ass, big old arm. And the first thing.
We lost the giant.
I'm here.
Hey, that's funny, though.
I'm here. Didn't lose me.
All right. It broke up as you were talking.
Yeah, it's my so-called internet connection. But I'm looking into getting something a little bit more better, going back to my 4G. And with my 4G, I can, work a lot more better.
Hey, Big Dog, have you ever been to Paris, Texas?
No, but I hear there's a lot of stuff going on out there.
Yeah. I used to live over there, and I used to do business there, and that's where I was supposed to be keeping an eye on TB when his team came here. I'm sure you're familiar with TB.
Now, talking about Texas, there was a national park or something up above Houston that they closed down. There was some Bigfoot investigators wound up killed up there. What was that all about? Do y'all know what happened?
Well,
I'd have to go online and research that one.
Yeah, I don't know about him being killed.
I think it may have been something to do with wildcats or bears or something.
I know somebody told me that they had an incident outside of a place of Arizona where some creatures went inside and almost destroyed a town. But these creatures that I'm referring to weren't Bigfoots. They were actually considered what they call reptilians.
Really?
Ooh.
I know some brown bears went to a town in Germany.
But see, I don't really see. I don't see a reptilian.
That would be creepy.
Because see, a lot of
creepy.
A lot of your Native Americans refer the reptilians as their what do you call it?
Entities, their god.
No, not their demigod. They refer them as their spiritual brothers. What do you call it? They have these animals, and each animal in the Native American tribe is considered what?
Spirit guide.
Spirit guide?
Yeah, spirit guide. The Native Americans refer the reptilians as a spirit guide.
Yeah. I'd love to go. Matter of fact, I got an opportunity, and once I get my foot repaired, I want to get a team together. So any volunteers that want to go with me, let me know. To New Mexico and see if I can maybe track down some of these reptilians that they've sighted over there.
Oh, they have all kinds of creepy stuff out there in New Mexico. That's my fiance lives in New Mexico. She's full Navajo.
Which part of New Mexico?
Close to Farmington.
Okay, because I got family members that were adopted. They adopted me, but their families also live out there on the Apache reservation, and their last names are Quintanas.
And
okay,
that's where this is at.
Over there in the Albuquerque area or Gallup?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes. And I was asked to come out there by Father Ray, and he was going to talk to the reservation for him about letting snake man track down.
Wow.
Because I think that would be a good thing for a show, don't you?
Hey, by the way, have you spoken to Father Ray at all?
Yes.
Is he still minister? Or did they let him go?
He is retired now.
Oh man.
Now he's got a gun and he's licensed to carry a gun, so I call him the gun-toting preacher.
Gun-toting preacher. Tell me how to have a Bible in one hand and a gun in the other hand. One's for
he's not the only one.
One is for going to heaven and one's for going to hell.
He's not the only one. Me and my husband, we carry pistols. We both ministers.
Yeah, but see, you guys, you have a Bible in one hand and you have a gun in the other hand. One is for heaven and the other one's for hell.
You're going to get better. You're going to hell.
You guys were talking about Navajo and all that. I'm actually Blackfoot Crow. So, you know.
Well, I can never say you never ate crow.
You're funny.
Hey guys, I gotta go. I just wanted to call in for a little while. I'm not doing too good.
Well, what I said before, Mary Catherine, is get some lemon juice or lemons and squeeze them to a full ounce glass of water, okay? Or not water, but full 8-ounce glass of lemonade. Don't add no sugar or nothing to it. Plug your nose and drink it. And then drink 2 glasses of regular reverse osmosis on top of it, or what do you call spring water, and let it do its job. When you go to bed at night, do the same thing.
Yeah, I will. Well, I appreciate it. And y'all, when's the next show?
Next week. Let me look at my calendar here. Yeah, I'm squinting, everybody. What else new? The 2nd of April.
2nd of April. Okay.
All right.
Before that, it's April Fools.
Yeah. Be glad we ain't doing no show on the 1st. It would be a Fool's Day.
Oh yeah, I know.
Mary Catherine, I hope you feel better, and please give me a call after you feel better.
Yeah, I've got a real bad kidney infection. That's what it is. I've been miserable.
I just was diagnosed. I went to the doctor, and they said I have a heart murmur and high blood pressure. So,
you're gonna have to get better.
Hey, Anthony, tell us anything happened to you.
Well, I haven't been out these past couple of months, but I did
go to some of the trails and sorry, I forgot to update you on the pictures that I took,
that's okay. I mean, I figured since we had like 3 months of going out.
But yeah, I was going to ask Giant, you and Big Dog, get myself fixed up. Do you guys want to go with me out there to do the investigation?
He might be able to. I can't for right now because I'm still waiting for my stupid stimulus to come in.
I just got mine just now.
Wow, they took forever.
Yeah, I got 1,400.
Yeah, I don't know how long they're going to take to send this thing out. Remember, I told you guys last time I spoke that the bank screwed me over on my income. Well, the bank just put my income back in. Now I'm waiting for them to put the 153 back.
Well, yeah. The reason I was talking to you guys about going with me to the New Mexico for this thing is because they had a report, and your fiance might be able to verify this too. She lives on the res, right?
She lives off the res, but she's not too far.
Well, okay. Wait a minute. How long from now are you going to start this?
Well, I'm in the process now of making my capture cages.
Okay. Well, if you get down there, and if I save enough money back, me and the other half will try to take a trip over there. I guess we could figure out a way to, do the show over there as well and do some live research at night.
Well, as long as you help back me up on the capture.
Yeah, I'll try to help you back up on the capture. I'll just go out there and act like a fool.
Hey, I know a guy that he would be. Yeah. Okay, bad joke.
No, I think he's talking about Dave.
Oh.
No, Dave. I said TV.
Oh, TV? Hell no.
That's why I said it was a bad joke.
Hey, I can use him for bait.
If we have TV out there, he'll try to run the whole show. That ain't going to happen.
But you know what? This would actually be my actual adventure and my capture, but it would be something that would be like I was saying, I'm going to be starting my own show, hopefully, called Hitman Adventures.
Right.
But and it would be sort of like a brother show to Giant's show.
Cool.
And if Giant wants that, if Giant wants it like that,
I don't care.
And the thing is that they also have reported 4.5 foot tall lizards with frilled necks chasing people on quad runners.
What? 4.5 tall?
Yeah, 4.5 foot tall.
Well, goody. I'm going to go after me some midget lizards.
Yeah, well, and I can try to catch them. And I got a gut feeling because they're saying that it could be something prehistoric. If that's the case, then I capture one of those and I prove that there are still prehistoric things living, correct?
Well, I mean, we got alligators. Those are still prehistoric.
I catch those all the time. That's no big deal.
Right, but do they run on 4 legs or 2 legs?
2 legs.
That is weird. How many toes?
No, the lizards run on 2 legs, and I guess they have the four actual legs, but they run on 2 legs when they chase you.
I know of one lizard that's like that, but it's not here in the United States. It's somewhere in Africa. Yeah. They get up. A what?
Mm-hmm. It sounds like a Jesus lizard to me.
Yeah, that's what they call it. It stands up, the little thing behind the head flaps out, and it starts running.
And it spits venom. And it spits venom.
Yeah. Ooh. It's a Jesus lizard. They run across water too.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is when J.C. Johnson was alive, he told me about these, about the reptilians, and about a 30-foot snake that's out in the freezing water.
Freezing water.
It's the witness eating a full cow, which sounds to me like that would be an anaconda.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where they've been having people.
I saw a video of an anaconda eating like not a fully grown hippo, but a smaller hippo, you know.
Right.
Now,
right.
Giant, have you explained to Mad Dog what I do?
Yeah, Mad Dog, I think he knows what he does. He's a reptilian capture and release. But if you release any reptilians, make sure you release them somewhere else.
I'm going to send them over to my TV's house.
Yeah, okay. No problem here.
No, but actually, I'm a herpetologist, and I do reptile and nuisance animal retrieval.
You're a herpetologist?
Herpetologist, not herpetologist.
Oh, okay.
No.
What's a herpetologist? Is that something to do with herpes?
Study of reptile. What a herpetologist is a study of reptiles, amphibians, and crocodilians.
Okay, the reason I asked that because I've never heard it before, and when you told me that, the first thing went through my mind is maybe you were a studier of herpes.
That's funny.
No,
I was actually in business in Paris, Texas, for over 16 years.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Giant, you're just a carrier of herpes.
Oh, okay.
You did what? Excuse me? What? Huh?
I said you're just a carrier of herpes.
No, I'm not. Don't do that. Don't tell that. My wife will be like, "Oh shoot." But no. Hey, ask Giant about our little adventure to Chemung when he tried to take a shower.
Yeah, he tried to put a snake in the bathtub, and when I saw that snake, I got the hell out of the bathroom.
I would too.
I tell you what, I don't know any man that's going to get into a shower with a snake in it.
I did.
Well, that's you, but you're no man. You're strange.
So I fit right in this group, don't I?
I don't know.
You know, I was just thinking about all this cutting up that we're doing. I see Ashley just smiling and laughing at this.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
she liked to have fun.
I really did.
You know, Anthony
like
Anthony said something to the point when I talked to him earlier that he was going to try and get a hold of Ashley because him and Ashley found, you know, were so intrigued with the Bigfoot phenomena too. Why don't you tell us what about that, Anthony?
Well, I remember when she was on your show, you know, a couple months ago, and I was hoping to
open up like a dog.
Yeah, you know, she said she was interested, you know, and but you know, it's just like everything else, you know, when you got a lot of stuff on your plate, you know, it's not that you don't want to connect, it's just you just didn't because you know you're just trying to make time for everything, and you know, life happens, and it's just hard to do it.
Yeah,
And,
it's got a lot to do with funds. It's got a lot to do with getting around and all the other stuff. I mean, you know, get me wrong, but this coronavirus has got our people still locked down. Some parts of California are still on lockdown. You would think at the beginning of the year we would open up. Not. Now they're talking about the third phase of the virus coming out of control again. I'll say it once before. I'll say it again. I ain't got the virus. Everybody I know doesn't have it.
Well,
my daughter caught it. My daughter caught it sometime last year. I sent her some of my colloidal silver that I make. Within a 2-day period, she got rid of the virus with my colloidal silver. So I know what I'm doing.
Oh, I gotta finish.
Do what?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on mine.
Well, Anthony was supposed to send me a bottle back so I could refill his.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You know, that's my fault. I apologize. I'll try to get it out to you this week.
Hey, Jack, you sending me out a bottle yet?
I'm going to send you out a bottle, and eventually I'll probably send out Big Dog a bottle too. That way he can keep himself and his family protected, because if this is a third rise, and I've even already cured a Native American person using this stuff that I use, and I'm not going to mention their names because it's not proper for me to use their names on the show. That's something I try not to do. And she told me it worked for her family great, so I'm going to try, you know, get some more out there to them. So I got to order more silver and everything else.
Yeah, and hopefully eventually I'll get another set of snake tongs and snake sticks.
Yeah, when I get rich, I'll send you your pair of tweezers out there so you can go catch those nice big little worms for fishing.
What? You want me to send? Oh, hey, Big Dog, I got to tell you this. This happened in Chemung. We were at our hotel. Giant broke out this jar. He goes, "You got to check this out." He cracked the lid on that thing, and it cleared the entire hotel.
Oh, man. What is it, stink?
Yeah, it's called Bigfoot repellent.
It repels everything, including Bigfoot.
Well, basically, it was supposed to be called human repellent because when a human goes out in the woods, it leaves a stench or a stink behind. But if you put this stuff on your body and you step out there in the woods, you're not going to smell the human scent. You're going to smell something that's stinkier than that.
Tell him about the escape of the snake in the trailer on the set.
Why don't you tell him? That's pretty much.
Oh my God. Tom Viscardi. He came in and told us that he was mad because somebody shifted everything in the trailer. Well, I had my bucket that I used to hold the snake in to keep him calm and everything. And they smashed it pretty much, so the snake got loose in the trailer. So I'm actually face down into the bottom of the trailer. Am I not, Giant?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking for the thing, and I grab it, and I pull it out, and it's striking. And it comes right for TB. And TB, he literally, got behind the crew and everything?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny. He was terrified of that damn thing. It was over 6 foot.
I would have been terrified of it, too. God. Well,
you can actually...
It's that time to say good night. Glad everybody showed up on the show, especially you, Anthony, Snake Man, and Philip, and everybody else. Until then, happy Bigfooting. See you all again next week. And Ashley Jacobs, your memories will always be with us forever and always.
Rest.
God bless you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bigfoot Radio for this week, and we would like you all to tune in next week for some more Bigfoot Radio. And all of us on the Bigfoot Radio Network, we would also like to thank our guests for joining in on the discussion tonight on this talk show. And we would also like to thank you, our listeners, for sharing our adventures with us. Join us again next Friday evening for another exciting hour of Bigfoot Radio with the Bigfoot research teams from across the country. And we would also especially like to thank our listeners. Until then, this is the Gentle Giant saying good night, be good, be safe, and we will see you here again next week. Until then, keep Bigfoot live and keep Bigfooting. See you all again next week. Bye-bye, and have a nice night.
Good night, John Boy.
Good night, Grandpa.
Good night, too, Ellen.
This session is no longer being recorded.
What was that you said, Mary Lou? Oh.
Hey, that was an interesting show tonight.
Yeah,
it was.
You think?
Hey, Big Dog's still on?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yep.
Hey, you can go to YouTube and type in Ash